let the blood splatter all throughout, and let there be a zombie infestation running throughout pretty much an island called Matul and then New York City. Lucio Fulci returns in the review, and this time we're looking at the absolutely incredible Zombie from 1979. An instant gorehound classic, says Fangoria. As gory as the law allows, Zombies set new standards for eyeball violence, arterial spurting, maggot infestations, topless skin diving, and zombie table manners, Chaz Bolen of Gore Zone says. And belongs in every horror film collection, says DVD Review. In Italy, it was considered the unofficial sequel to Dawn of the Dead. In England, it was known as Zombie, Flesh Eaters, and banned as obscene. In America, it was called Zombie and advertised with the depraved tagline, "We are going to eat you." Tisa Farrow, Manhattan, Richard Johnson, The Haunting, and Ian McCulloch of Contamination star in this worldwide splatter sensation directed by the maestro of gore, Lucio Lucas Fulci. City of the Living Dead: The Beyond. It remains one of the most eye-skewering, skin-ripping, gore-gushingly graphic horror hits of all time. Now Zombie has been remastered from its original camera negative. Each flesh-eating frame has been lovingly restored to skull-riding perfection. This is Zombie like you've never truly seen or heard it before. This one, in my opinion, took Zombies to that level that was needed, because it's like we have the Night of the Living Dead, which I believe is like the first zombie movie. That one has social commentary. The second one, Dawn of the Dead, features the decline of civilization as they all head to the mall. Boy, which I haven't seen Dawn of the Dead. And in this one, what was missing was some gore, in my opinion. There is just, this gore is truly something to behold. Story in this case is that a boat drifts ashore, crew is missing. Their usual people are dispatched to handle it, and then lo and behold, a woman appears saying, "This was my father's boat. What happened to him?" So, doubting police reports, she teams with an investigator. They go and find out what it is. They go and meet like two people who are on vacation. They own a boat. One guy has a beard, and there's a lady. Then they go to an island and try and discover what's going on, only to discover there's a doctor who's been trying to prevent the contamination from spreading, and he's got a wife. And so what happens from there is true zombie mayhem. And I highly like this one. This is gory greatness. This was a film that doesn't pull any punches. It shows you exactly what you want. You wanna see some boobies? You wanna see some blood? What else do you want? You get the goodies in this one. Oh yes. Surprisingly, it's really not that perverse. It's just got a lot of blood. See, this movie was just taking some of the zombie tropes, but just amplified in that Italian way that just works so well with a synthesizer score that just adds to the overall tension and uncertainty. I guess like how the music itself sounds sterile with the notes and everything, but against the backdrop of everything occurring, all the invasions and all the blood and everything, ooh, it just plays so effectively in transporting you to this ridden island, I guess you could describe it as. Yeah. Obviously, the acting is not the greatest in the world. In some of these movies, you're here more for the effects. It's like, do you really care about them? Not particularly. I mean, I like the zombies. The zombies were really freaking cool. Yeah, so they acted like they were stuttering and someone were walking, and it's like, you're here to see that. I guess, I mean, the characters, the humans are, you can see their desperation towards the end when they're trying to prevent it. So I do like the running around and the speech and how they're throwing like little Molotov cocktails and everything. That part I liked. So I guess you kinda care about them because at least you get to spend a little time with them. The cast is smaller, so like, well, there's 7 people, 7 non-zombies. So it's like they're stock, but you care about them just enough, I guess would be the way to say it. But yeah, obviously, some of the one of the other scenes where the scenes that stand out, of course, are when they're on the boat. One of the women who wants to capture underwater images wears nothing more than a G-string and is topless. Yes, and she dives in the water, and starts capturing the images when suddenly there's an underwater zombie. And I'm just looking at this like, the last time I saw this was 4 years ago, and I was, yeah, a little bit more progressively drunk. This was when it was starting to get a little out of hand, I will say that. But here, I'm just looking, it's like, yeah, you could tell they took the time to restore it. The picture is freaking beautiful. The crew down there in order to make it happen. Oh, heck yeah, it looks great. And then comes one of the better scenes. We get a zombie versus shark fight. Seriously. You can't make this stuff up. So let's get a zombie that's already gotten that's already a little bit tougher than the average human. Let's have him fight a shark. Let's have the zombie lose his arm, but have the zombie kind of overpower the shark. And I'm just looking at it like they're hugging and they're just kind of just beating on each other. I'm just like, this is so great because it's like, yeah, this is something that the Asylum or Echo Bridge Entertainment would release. You know, they have Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus or Sharknado, which is all I need to say. But here, this was well before everything. Bam! That shark gets it, and he still goes off. And the zombie eventually, well, passes. Turns out that in order for this to occur, there was no animatronic because the budget was so small. The shark was, what was he? He was sedated, not sedated, and given something else to really make him mellow rather than be like a man-eater or man-hunter. So it was good enough to where the shark's trainer could complete the scene. And I mean, seriously, you have to Google this. Seriously, Google zombie 1979 zombie versus shark. Another particular scene with the gore was about sometime in is when the doctor's wife is starting to feel a little alone or whatever. So she's like, "Here's a zombie coming in," and one of the more famous scenes, she's trying to get the hand to go against, trying to get the zombie to go away. However, he has enough strength to shatter the door and then bring her eye. Yeah, her eye gets impaled. And that was just such a tense scene. So the acting there was good. And I'm like, ugh. But then again, you get the climax with all the zombies, and you know, you get to see the blood, and just when it's right inside a hospital, and we do get to see some zombies being killed with a bullet. But then eventually they all just descend on here, and you know, they got the makeup on. The makeup is freaking fantastic, and it's not over. It's done right, but you know, at the same time, but it's just could be gruesome to some people. I mean, I'm loving this, but you know, with how some people will be like, this is just a little too. Oof. It may scare some people just with the imagery of just like the blood, the decaying cadavers, and the way how the bodies are handled. You know, put in a grave to help them prevent them from rising. It's just absolutely surreal just to think about, you know. And yeah, eventually it's right at the end. Our heroes think that they're able to they reach New York City. Lo and behold, they discover that New York is infested with zombies. So it's just like absolutely crazy. But yeah, some trivia. There was the underwater zombie. He walked into CG country bluegrass and blues, a little punk rock, where the punk rock was scene was going on at the same time. That even with the outrageous outfit. He didn't really, like, no one paid attention to him. Not even the bartender didn't even look twice because everyone had hairstyles and everything. There were a lot of brothers who played the zombies, so they all kind of looked the same, which was convenient. The Harbor Patrol, they were like just off-duty cops, so that kind of helped save them uniforms. And at the end, when there was the New York scenes, there was actually crosstown traffic going on. So, let's just add to, like, okay, there are a bunch of zombies, but there's still traffic. What? Yeah. Like I said, some people may not be a fan of like the gore and the makeup and everything, but then again, you're getting a freaking. This was also video nasty, so yeah, it offended a lot of people in Britain, Mary Whitehead especially. But yeah, if you're looking to get your satisfaction of gore, zombies, and everything else, and I really recommend you watch Lucio Fulci's 1979 Zombie.